Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited about this week's video. My name is Victoria and this is personal development with Dr. I'm super elated about this video because I promised on my social media handles, I said I was going to share an experience I had couple of weeks, towards the end of July. It was my first physical hosting of a convention, of a conference, and it went absolutely well. And as promised, I'm going to share this experience with you guys. So today's video is something that every young professional should really pay good attention to. And if you're new to the family, if you're just coming, if you're just seeing this video for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to comment in the comment box below. And thank you so much for all the views and all the sharing and all the thank you so much guys who have already subscribed to my channel. I'm super excited about that. Alright, so we're going to go straight to today's video, and for today's video we're going to be doing something very interesting. 7 things to know about public speaking and presentations. That's today's topic. 7 things to know about public speaking and presentations. I mean, as a young professional, as an individual, basically, speaking skills is one of the most fundamental skills to have as a person. If you're not able to duly communicate with someone, you are not passing across any message. Remember when we talked about effective communication? We said that the end game of effective communication is to have effectively passed across your message to another person. Now, for you to do this, you must know how to speak eloquently, sufficiently, in such a way that the message that you have to pass across is duly passed across to the audience or to the people that you're making your presentation to. So for today's video, we're going to deal with the public speaking aspect, and then we're going to deal with presentation aspects for people in offices who want to do PowerPoint presentation on a particular topic or something like that. And along the line, I'm going to share my experience as a host and as a recent moderator. So let's get into this video right now. Welcome back guys, and we're going to start today's video. Like I said, 7 things you need to know about public speaking and presentation. What is the first thing you need to know? When it comes to public speaking to a particular people, I mean, for the sake of this video, we're referring to speaking to a group of people, speaking to an audience, or having a presentation in front of your team, in front of your bosses, in front of your colleagues. That's what we're referring to in today's video. So what's the first thing you need to do? Do not try to be perfect. Never try to be perfect. That's like the key thing to public speaking or hosting or PowerPoint presentations. Initially you get a topic, you get a project, or you get something, a hosting job that you have to do, and you're like, let me start my preparations, let me start preparing. And a lot of people have this mindset that I have to be perfect. Yes, you have to, try and deliver to the best of your abilities, but do not have this mindset that it's a do or die affair. Because the minute you have the mindset that it's a do or die affair, you become desperate for perfection. And when you become desperate for perfection, you miss out key things and key details that are very important to that engagement. What do I mean? During a couple of weeks, I think into the month of July, the first week of July, I got a call from the campus director of my school. And as most of you know, I'm a law student at the University of Nigeria, a 400 level law student. So I got a call from my campus director, and she was like, Victoria, I want to recommend you to host the Lausanne, Lausanne is Law Students Association of Nigeria, the Lausanne Southeast Zone Convention of 2022. And I was like, wow, do you mean this? She was like, yeah, sure, they'll reach out to you. And so when the director of the Southeast Zone reached out to me, I was like, oh wow, mama, this is a lot more. I guess I will be sure to deliver. I will do my best. Now, at this point, I was trying to oh my God, I'll be speaking in front of law students from over 13 universities. I'll be speaking in front of dignitaries, because I saw the dignitaries, and it's like, we had Commissioner of Lands, Banabra State present. We had the Nigerian Afghan and presidential candidates. We had Leonard Silks involved. We had Chiefs Essence. We had big dignitaries in our midst, right? And I was like, oh, this is scary. I haven't done this before, but I was trying to be perfect, basically. I was like, I wouldn't make mistakes, I would. And I got to miss out key details, right? I got to miss out the fact that these people have a dress code. I couldn't even sufficiently research on the speakers that I was going to be introducing to the audience. And so this was kind of a mistake I made, right? And so when it comes to public speaking and power presentations, when you're given a topic or someone informs you about an engagement, don't try to be perfect. Have the mindset that you have to do your best to deliver the most, but do not, and again I repeat, do not try to be perfect. Now, what's the next thing? You cannot succeed without thorough research and preparation. That's the second thing. You cannot succeed without thorough research and preparation. What do I mean? When it comes to public speaking and speaking in front of people, it is very important that you have due knowledge, adequate knowledge of the subject matter or the area that you're speaking on. Or it is important that you have good knowledge of the people you're speaking to, the theme for the program, and the dress code and the proper way to address the dignitaries that are going to be there. That's exactly what you need to have in mind, that you cannot succeed without thoroughly researching and preparing for these things. It's not possible. It can't even happen, right? Because if you don't, let me give you words of wisdom now. If you don't thoroughly prepare for success, you're setting up yourself for failure. That's the honest truth. So what did I do? When Madam Director reached out to me about the hosting engagement, I said, okay, send me all the details. And we drafted our program of events. There was a dress code for the conference and the convention. I mean, mind you, this convention lasted for 4 days. There was a dress code. I had to go start looking for clothes, dresses that I had in my wardrobe that was going to fit. If I didn't have, I had to go and buy them because I wanted to deliver and do my best to make sure that this speaking engagement goes well, such that I can have future speaking engagements with either Lausanne or other organizations, right? And so I began to research on the profile of the speakers. I read through their profile, I saw their achievements, because it allows you to engage properly with the dignitaries of your audience, or with your bosses, or with your colleagues. I had to do thorough research on all these things that I have just listed now. And so what was the next thing I did, right? I went to their portals, I looked at their profile, what they have done, the space of time they have done this, what made them exceptional, what has made them so exceptional that they're invited as dignitaries for this event. And so that was what my key focus was on, and I did thorough research on that, and I got prepared. For the conference that happened on Friday, right? The theme for the conference was law as a tool for social engineering. It's a very interesting and diverse topic, so I had to go and research so that I can engage in intelligent conversation with the speakers during the panel session. Because in as much as the law students had questions on their own, you have to really engage with the speakers to broaden the topic and give people a new perspective of this particular topic. But if you just get an engagement, you're like, okay, I will just freestyle it and do the way, you're setting up yourself for failure. And that way, you lose your credibility as a host or as a public speaker. And in fact, if it's in the office, people stop asking you to do PowerPoint presentation. Just like, please submit it on my desk, I'm going to look at it. Because you don't know the subject matter of what you're presenting on. And what is the third thing? Now you've prepared for yourself, you've prepared yourself rather, you've done your research and you're ready to carry this on. You're in front of your audience now. Visualize and connect to your audience. Now, people always talk about anxiety and fear when it comes to public speaking. And my solution for that is to visualize your audience. Now, to visualize your audience, you can do this in 3 ways. 1, engage with your audience before the event. 2, engage with your audience during the event. And 3, engage with your audience after the event. Now, this is the best way to capture the mind of your audience. 1, how do you engage with them before the event? Arrive at the venue of this event, hosting, if it's a virtual one, go online on time. Arrive at this place early. Speak to people, get to hear, know their names, what they do, what interests them about the convention or the conference they came for, right? If you're in your office, speak to your colleagues, get their ideas, get their perspective on that particular topic you're about to do your PowerPoint presentation on. So when you engage with them, it gives you've gone there to create a relationship subconsciously, such that during the event, when you're eventually speaking with them, you've captured their mind. They want to hear what this person has to say. So on the day of the conference, when the guests had arrived, I had to go to the sitting room where the guests were. I had to go and introduce myself. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. My name is Victoria Moldo. I am the host for today's conference. I'm the host for today's dinner and award night. And I'm just going to tell you that I appreciate you for taking out time to be with us today. And we look forward to you have captured their mind. You've created a pictorial attention on yourself. So eventually when you go on stage, right, they are like, okay, this is the lady that introduced herself to me. I want to see, as the host of this event, what does she have to offer? Would she be able to live up to the name as the host of the event? And it's very important that you engage with them before the event. You also get to get proper pronunciation of their name, especially if you're in a diverse area. I mean, I'm not Igbo, so I'm not really conversant with pronouncing Igbo names, but I school in an Igbo state, right? And this was an event that was happening in Igbo state, which is, Igbo centralized basically. So I had to ask the speakers the proper pronunciation of their names. But the funny thing is that there was a speaker that came after the event and I couldn't get the proper pronunciation of her name. So when I went on stage, I pronounced her name and she had to come up and correct me. As a host, you wouldn't want that to happen. It's not like it's embarrassing, but it's a point of lesson for you. You don't want a guest coming up the stage to correct you or something like that. So that's one of the good things of engaging with your guest or your audience before the event. Now, how do you engage with your guests during the event? Tell a story. Start with a story. Captivate them with a story. Now, I don't say you should go and start cracking jokes or telling them unsavvy jokes that they don't want to have any interest in. Engage. Tell them a punchline or something that happened to you. For instance, if I'm talking about insecurity in the country, or if I'm making reference to the way human beings are wired, let me tell a funny story. Today that I'm recording this video for you, my car had an accident, right? The vehicle I was in, and so we were trying to circumvent and get to solve the issue with the other driver that was involved, and there was this mediation that someone came up and drew. So if I'm talking about mediation, right, or I'm talking about dispute resolution, I can use that as a typical example of my own experience. With that story, I've been able to captivate the minds of this audience I'm referring to now. How do you engage your audience after the talk? You engage them by asking for feedbacks, getting to hear their parts on this thing that you have just done. That's exactly what it is. And we're going to go to the fourth one. Practice. 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 As cliche as it sounds, practice makes perfect. Once you practice, you overcome anxiety and fear. You have a problem with looking people in their eyes and telling them something when you're a public speaker or host. In fact, you can't get to a certain level of public speaking if you're not able to look someone in their eyes and talk to them. So how did I overcome this, right? It's there with I watched TEDx talks on how to overcome fear. And so first they'll tell you that when you familiarize yourself with the environment, right? And when you eventually get on stage, look at the heads of your audience, look above their heads, right? Then slowly begin to pick eye contact with people there that are familiar faces. This is why you need to speak with your audience before the event, because once you have a familiar face, you can easily make eye contact with this person, and before you know, you become used to the faces you're seeing, and that anxiety reduces, that anxiety drops drastically. So it is important you take this key point and begin to practice, right? So you can call your family members and sit them down, or your friends and sit them down, like, I want to talk about this. And you practice and you practice and you practice until you're good. On Tuesday, I was privileged to anchor, or rather to moderate a session of the top law firm in Nigeria, Omaplex Law Firm. They have this virtual internship program that they organize, and I am the president of the alumni network. So I had the opportunity to moderate a session on taxation for the firm. And throughout that morning, while I was preparing to come to the office and get myself, set up my gadgets, my ring light and everything, and get ready for it, I kept on practicing what I had to say, my opening speech, my opening statement, at all points. How do I engage the people? I kept on thinking, how do I do this? I kept on practicing till the event started. In fact, at some point where I was feeling anxious, I had to turn on music and dance and shake my body and be like, you know what, you can do this. Anything that it takes for you to get rid of the anxiety, please engage with it. Now, what's the fifth one? Speak with passion. while you're speaking to your audience, don't just come and talk up. Speak with passion. Share, give them an ideology that this thing you're talking about, you relate with it greatly. So what do? You begin your story with the problem and then you give them the solution. So you're talking about mediation, talking about human behavior during mediation or dispute resolution. That's a typical example, right? Let's say that's your PowerPoint presentation. You start with, there's a typical problem that, as human beings, we have different views, different ideologies, which means at some point we don't see eye to eye, right? We don't see eye to eye on certain things and we have different perspectives. This could cause conflicts because one person sitting here can see the letter 6 as 6, rather the number 6 as 6, and the person standing on the other side but see it as 9. They are both correct, but they just have different perspective. How do you allow them? How do you make them reach a middle ground, right? By making one person come here and see that this is 6, and making one person come here and see that this is 9, so they understand that each of them have their perspective to respect and to, avoid the whole dispute that they are about to engage in. So when you begin with this analogy or this they understand that you're speaking from a point of understanding. You're not just coming there to say, oh, what is this resolution, what is mediation, and then you move on with your life. That would not give you the feedback or desired success that you require. And now, build anticipation. This is part of this speak with passion part, but this is under 6 now. And build anticipation. Begin your story. Create the height of climax and then you end it. That's how it is. Begin your PowerPoint presentation, begin your talk with a certain level of anticipation, with a story, with an anecdote or something. And then you build a climax, right? After you've explained the key terms and principles, you build a particular climax and then you end that climax with the solution that you have recommended to that particular problem that you started with in the beginning. And what is the 7th one? End your presentation, end your engagement with a bang. I mean with a bang. The same way you started with all the effort you put into your research, your preparing and everything like that. It's the same way you should go ahead to end it, right? You don't just start on a high pitch and end on a low pitch. End on a high pitch. So you start at high pitch, end on a high pitch. Make sure your frequency, your tone, flows and goes together with everything. Don't just start from one place and end at one place. It doesn't, flow together. You cannot start with a story and not tell us what happened at the end of the story, especially if it's a story that you stopped halfway and told us you're going to show us an analogy of how the story ended. You cannot just exclude the story from your talk and move on. So this is part of the things you need to consider while you're engaging in public speaking. 7 things. Now this is just a side talk, right? What are these things that you also need to have at the back of your mind? Your body language, your tone, your breathing space. Now, this breathing space is something I learned during my hosting of the SSXC. I had to talk a lot, I had to speak a lot, I had to introduce dignitaries, I had to speak to dignitaries, right? So I cannot be talking too fast. No, I had to calmly. There are sometimes I had to calmly speak, there are sometimes I had to speak at a high pitch. So this is all controlled by your breathing space. Breathe 1, 2, 3. Like that. Now, before you start, or with your thing in mind, before you start speaking, make sure you take a deep breath for at least 10 seconds. You calm your nerves because you're climbing that stage with lots of anxiety and fear. So it helps you calm your nerves. You need to control your breathing space. Work on it. It's part of the things you need to practice. It's very important. Then your tone. If you're introducing a guest, your tone has to be up because you're trying to draw the attention of the audience to listen to you and to focus on this guest. So you have to increase your tone. You're calling up someone for an award at an event, you increase your tone. But now you're talking to them on a particular issue, like your PowerPoint presentation. You at a very soft tone so that you can have their attention from beginning to the end, right? Now, the last one is, we've talked about body language, we've talked about breathing, we've talked about tone. Smile and choose the right language and words. Keep smiling. Anytime you're talking, just keep smiling. Even if your heels are paining you like you were spinning me on stage one time, keep smiling, keep smiling. Now, wear speaker-friendly clothes. What does it mean to wear speaker-friendly clothes? It means the dress you're wearing is not too exclusive, or like you're not just showing your body out there. Wear speaker, wear corporate. Abide by the dress code of that event. If it's a corporate event, please dress corporate. If it's a native event, please wear native attire, because your dressing also communicates with the audience, like we always say. So make sure you watch out for all these things. Now, what are these 7 things we've mentioned? Don't try to be perfect, right? You can't succeed without thorough research and preparedness, right? Practice. Visualize and engage your audience. Speak with passion, build anticipation, and lastly, end with a bang. Today's video has absolutely been amazing. I'm so thankful to you for listening and watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and comment what you learned from today's video in the comment section. If you also have ideas for videos that you would love to see on my YouTube channel, please don't forget to comment them in the comment box below. Thank you so much, and we've come to the end of personal development with Dr. Victoria for this week. I hope to see you guys next week, and until next time, bye guys.